Hey everyone, welcome to the GardenStateHSWrestling.com podcast Near Fall. I'm Donald J. Brower, your host. Hope everybody's hunkered down with this wonderful winter weather we've had the last few days. Everybody can warm up, but you know what'll warm me up? Checking out my sponsors. Again, horrible transition, but we're going to go with it. Champion Athlete Sports Nutrition, Dan Warnikoff, I've talked about him a lot. He is one of the most valued minds when it comes to what you want to do for wrestling. There's the technique, there's everything else. You need the nutrition. You know how many wrestlers I've seen, especially in all the action we've done, they're gassed by the third period. They're not getting the right energy, and Dan will help you with that. He helps you craft a list. You could go shopping. It's not a meal plan. It's not prepared meals. You guys make the food at home. The whole family can enjoy it. Dan Warnikoff, Champion Athletes. Apex Wrestling School, 3 in New Jersey, location in New Jersey, 1 in New York. Dane Tabano, Damian Logan, Michigan teammates. They are the founders, one of the fastest growing schools. I've heard rumors Damian might be helping me out at one of the tournaments. That's an inside joke. If you know, you know. But Apex Wrestling School, one of the top growing schools in the area. The Harrington Companies, Hoffman Landscaping, Harrington Recycling and Demolition, and Harrington Construction. I've said it before. I said it again on the podcast. You got a really nice house. You want to make it look nicer? Give the landscaping or construction a call. You got a real dump, want to rip it down? Give the recycling and demolition a call. Harrington family and the Harrington Companies. Performance Trophy and Medals, conveniently located at 236 South Salem Street in Randolph, New Jersey, right off Route 10. Honoring achievements one award at a time. They are our official sponsor for our Hammer of the Match, and they are the go-to for all of our trophy needs, performance trophies and medals. And Forum Coffee, redefining the New Jersey coffee experience. Locations in East Hanover and Livingston. They have some opening up in the future in West Orange, Cedar Grove, Chatham. They are blowing up, and you want to get in there. Great coffee. I'm not a coffee guy. My wife loves it, though. And compared to what I've seen my wife spend at other places, very, very competitively priced. And it might even save you a couple bucks. They're both from New Jersey. It's the Grogan family. You know them well from Del Barton. Like I said, give them a try. They've basically helped my finances because they made my wife not spend as much on coffee because it's so inexpensive. But they are the official coffee of GardenStateHSWrestling.com. Now, recap a little bit of some matchups last week. Some we were at, some we got the word on. A match I had high hopes for, but injury a couple days earlier, I think, changed the landscape. Peaburg beat Hanover Park 52-15. That was on the 13th. I don't know if it would have been any different with Santino Denise in the lineup, maybe here or there, but that was just a convincing win for a really tough Peaburg team who, as I've said before, and I say it on all the streams, they're in a really tough North 1 Group 4. It's going to be a battle. So, they're looking really good now. Then we head to 2 days later, a couple matchups that kind of caught my eye. In the Big North Independence, Wayne Valley won the Battle of Wayne, 49-15 over Wayne Hills. And then we move to the NJAC, the American Division. Pope John was beaten by Del Barton 55-6. And then Mount Olive, a lot closer than I thought, but they came out just bull rushing, beat West Morris 52-18. We had the broadcast there. You can go back and watch it on our YouTube. I was on the call with John Kovac. Mount Olive just steamrolled from the beginning, picked up the bonus points, and it was just too little too late for West Morris as they made the turn with Borgia and then Brody Neal and everything to help kind of get some points on the board. One that I would say not so much shocked me, but I was a little surprised about. Morris Knowles beats Montville 32-27, puts them in control for the national division. I know we're going to be having a match with Morris Knowles this week. We'll be talking about, and that Morris Knowles, they were hard to read because Morris Knowles doesn't have that, and this is no disrespect to them at all. They don't have that guy you look at and go, man, that guy's going to knock people off and do something. That hammer, in a sense. They're just really well coached, and they have some quality kids. I know they have Shivas and some of the other ones, but nobody you look at, and like I said, there's no respect that you go, like I'll use Hanover Park because we just talked to them, like a Laval or somebody like that, is that guy. But they are very impressive this year, and that shows you what a complete team they are. Like I said, we're going to be seeing them a little bit later this week. A match I was supposed to be at, but somehow didn't in the Freedom Division. High Point basically took it to Kitty Titty 56-14. Full control of the Freedom Division for High Point. We have some High Point news a little later on, but great win by High Point. Then we head to the 17th. A couple matches that caught my eye in the Skylands Conference. Non-division matchup. Phillipsburg again beats Del Val 39-23. Could have been a different way. I talked to a few of the people associated with the Del Val program, fans and such, and they were kind of like, "Oh, this guy didn't wrestle great." There could have been some toss-ups, but pretty convincing win by Peaburg there. And then a match we were at, which came down to the last bout in the Super Essex Conference America Division, right over here in Caldwell, a stone's throw from my house. Caldwell beats West Essex 30-29. They win it in the last bout. McDonough winds up taking it, and it was a really quality match for what with that, and two rivals. And if you get a chance, please go back and look at the stream. The gym was packed, and there was a lot of people just going crazy in there. The student sections were on fire, both sides of the mat. Everybody was going crazy. There was something I want to clear up a little bit about, because we got a lot of messages about it, and I talked to the coach afterwards. If you watch the end of the match, the wrestler goes off to shake the West Essex coach hand. As he's doing it, all of a sudden you see the Caldwell coach run over and grab the kid, put his arms around him, and walk away. So everybody's like, oh my God, what did he do? What did he do? Simple explanation. I caught up with Coach Romano the next day, and I said, hey, why did you do that? He said because as his wrestler was walking off, he took the straps down. He didn't want to get a team penalty point and have it be a tie, so he ran over to stop him. There was anything else. There was nothing else. It was a simple way of a coach just making sure his wrestler didn't cost the team a point. So speaking of that Caldwell team, we then end that Del Val team. I got to be on the call on Saturday when Del Val won 33-31, giving Caldwell their first loss of the season. Now, very evenly, contested bout. I was a little shocked by the performance of some wrestlers on both teams. Nothing too crazy. The key to me was at heavyweight. During the West Essex match, the Caldwell heavyweight broke his hand, and they had no heavyweight to go out there, so they had to forfeit 6. I think that could have been the difference right there, but a really good matchup there. And then a quad I wanted to highlight for a specific reason was the DePaul quad with Ocean Township, North Hunterdon, and High Point. What's impressive about that that quad was High Point achieved a milestone. High Point defeated DePaul 49-22, and as a result, that was the 800th win in program history, which is rare air for a lot of these schools. So it just shows it's a sustained success and everything they do. So congratulations to High Point on winning their 800th. Now, there was a little bit of shakeup in the rankings. Nothing too crazy. Essex and Passaic are pretty much locked in where they're at. Yeah, there'll be a couple matches where somebody can change, but as far as number one for both, it's pretty much determined that it's going to be Wayne Valley and Caldwell right now. I don't think there's really anybody who's going to give them too much of a run. We'll see. I know they got a big match with Passaic Valley coming up that could change things, but other than that, it's pretty much standard. There's a couple changes in the other rankings. So especially in the HWS, I had Hackettstown number 10. They wound up beating Sparta close, who I had ranked number 7. So what happened was I wound up moving Hackettstown above Sparta, moved Sparta down to number 10, and then bumped up Warren Hills and Hunterdon Central. I had a debate for a good part of a day with myself because I hear the voices, and I was trying to decide who if Hackettstown could go above Hunterdon Central. What wound up breaking it for Hunterdon Central for me was the Montville score. Hunterdon Central beat them 59-24. And they beat Hackettstown 58-14. So I just kind of look at that and, listen, it's not the greatest way to break it, but that's the one common opponent I saw that jumped out, and that's why they're there where they are. And then Kinnelon winds up cracking the Morris top 10. I had said I debated kind of the back end. Um, there's been a lot of rest teams beating one, losing to another. So it's a lot of round robin stuff in there. And I was kind of a little worried about who I was. And I looked at one of the matches and I kind of went in, looked at some of the wrestlers. I really like Kinnelon. And I gave him the slight edge over Booten. I know they're going to be settling on the mat soon, but that's why I went with Kinnelon. But everybody else pretty much signs up the same. No real changes this week when it comes to that. And there's not really going to be too many changes this week. There's some big matches, but nothing that I really think will shake up the standings because this is county tournament week. So we're going to be doing a lot of that, but I'll get to that when I go to my upcoming week in coverage. But let's talk about the wrestlers of the week. There were a lot of wrestlers from the boys side who impressed me. Some guys who got their 100th, some guys who, did really well in tournaments. But the one wrestler I really think, when I look at the wrestler of the week, it's guys who step up and do big things for their team. My wrestler of the week for the boys is Jaden Mendez at Dover. Had a big win in the last match against Lenape Valley in a try on Saturday. The team was losing, winds up coming back, wins it on his win, keeps them rolling into a big matchup this week for the conference. But Jaden Mendez is my boys' wrestler of the week. And on the girls, it's a name I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot of. A girl we're going to be talking about going forward in states, Julia Fungaro from Booten. She won the really, really brutal Coal Cracker tournament this past weekend. Her teammate Samira Koopa finished second. Congratulations, Julia. You are my female wrestler of the week. Now, for this week, it's going to be an interesting week. We got a lot of action coming up. We got some matches, kind of highlight. Nothing really going on tomorrow. There's a few little things, or later tonight. There's nothing really going on as much with the holiday. But then Tuesday, we're going to have teams all over. We're going to be in the American division of Northwest Jersey Athletic Conference as Pope John comes over to Mount Olive. That should have some really quality matchups with some of the guys both teams have. And then we're going to have another crew, as we just said, Morris Knolls and Roxbury. They're going to be at Morris Knolls for that big national division tilt where Roxbury is going to try to knock off Morris Knolls and create a three-way tie at the top with Montville. It's going to be a really good match. It's just always horrible because there's no way to break them, and it's always a try, and everybody does it that way. So it should be a really good matchup of two quality teams with Knolls right there, and Roxbury really turning on as of late. And then one I'm really excited to do, and it's for a different reason. It's for the Colonial Division. Newton is coming to Dover, and whoever wins that's going to walk away as the Colonial Division champion. The reason I really like this is both teams, Newton and Dover, have a really good history as programs. Newton has started in the 40s, tons of state champions. And Dover, what people don't realize, and if you ever look at my logo, the reason Morris County's orange is because Dover actually had the first ever multi-time state champion in the state. So they wound up, I think it was 1959 and 1960. Dom Sarinelli won state titles, and it was the first that I could tell. Obviously I wasn't alive back then. I was close, but I wasn't too much, according to who you ask. Was the first multi-time state champion. So that's why I have Morris County as orange on my stuff to honor that tradition. And so we're going to get to see them, and I'm going to be on the call over there. Should be a really good matchup. So you'll see the links posted. Tune in for that. Then on Wednesday, we're up at Sussex County Community College. They got a nice try up there we're going to be doing. Then Thursday, I'm going to be at the Essex County Tournament Finals. They're doing something a little different this year. The first part of the tournament is on Wednesday. Then Thursday, what they're going to do is they're actually going to have a girls' tournament. So come the end of the night, when the boys start at 4 o'clock, they're going to finish up, and then they're going to wrestle the medal rounds. And then dead center on the mat, they're going to have a boys' final and a girls' final. We're bringing you both. So you'll see the links up there. I'll be on the call for one. Shaney Dunn will be on the other. And then a nice rivalry matchup. And have asked me, oh, why are you doing this match? I'll tell you why. Somerville at Hackettstown. Somerville's new head coach, we used to go to school at Hackettstown, and it's going to be their alumni night. So we're sending a crew out there. We really want to help promote that event. So you can also watch Somerville at Hackettstown. Then the big news. I haven't really said anything. I've been trying to keep it under wraps, and I know Jared's going to hate me because I kind of went over this with him and said it. Guess who's back? Back again. Donnie's back at the MCT. I cut it down for Jared so he didn't kill me. We are going to be doing the entire Morris County tournament, everything. We're going to be doing the early rounds. We're going to have a picture posted in the next day or so. So if you want to tune in Friday, you could sit at home. You could see who's coming up next on what mat, what the score is, who everybody is. You're not going to have anybody flipping around trying to figure out who's on the mat with awkward angles. You're going to have everything right there. You're going to get your one-stop shop, and we're going to be bringing that to the next day for the full coverage. And we're going to be live with the finals, not on delay, live, Coach Baig and I. How it's been for the long time, you spoke, they listen, we're back. We're going to be live with our stream. The only place to watch it with our stuff is on GardenStateHSWrestling.com, the true provider of premium wrestling coverage in the state of New Jersey. And we're also going to be at the PCT, the Passaic County Tournament, on the 25th. We're going to have the crew out there. It's going to be a really, really good time. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of action this weekend, and I think everybody is going to thoroughly enjoy it. Now, we also, as we are entering this county tournament time, we have limited opportunities for sponsorships on the live streaming, and I mean limited. We're looking for a couple places who are interested in doing something, whatever county it is. Send me an email at admin@GardenStateHSWrestling.com, or click on the page, any of the team pages. You'll see your logo here. Fill out the form, goes directly to my email. You'll get the information back within 24 hours. We will turn your cents into major dollars. GardenStateHSWrestling.com, your premier high school wrestling provider in all of New Jersey. And you can also follow us on our social medias for all our updates. We are on Facebook, GardenStateHSWrestling.com, on X, GardenStateHSW, on Instagram, GardenStateHSWrestling. And you're watching me on YouTube. You're right there. Like and subscribe. Get notified. You'll get notified when we have the podcast, when we go live with any of our streams, everything we do, as well as you'll get notified on the Instagram the Instagram, like I'm an old man. You'll get notified on Instagram when we post after each match, when we have our talk with a coach and our hammer of the match, our performance trophies, hammer of the match. So follow along. We're getting into the meat of the season. All the other stuff has been the appetizer. Now we're getting that big, juicy steak. Unless you're a vegan, I apologize. But we're getting that big, juicy steak, that meal, that baked potato, everything. It's time. It's county tournament. Next thing you know, we're going to be talking. It's going to be almost groups. Then it's going to be district, regions, AC. It's here. I don't even know what we're talking about. This is our playoffs. We're getting ready to run, and this is when all the best wrestling happens. So for Jared, the podcast legend, I'm Donald J. Brower. I'll see you this week.